Welcome again to Learning AutoCAD 2013 tutorial number 9. Today we'll cover commands offset, trim, and extend, but in addition to that we'll start a real house project. What you have on the screen right now is a drawing that we'll accomplish during some weeks, starting from scratch, and then we'll create a 3D representation as you can see here. These tutorials are being produced by AutoCAD for you, and just remember, if you enjoy, feel free to share and give a like. Let's call command pline and let's start doing the perimeter of the house. The first line will be 26 feet 4 inches. The second will be 31 feet 4 inches. And now move up with 7 feet 8 inches. Now towards the left with 17 feet 4 inches. The next one is 12 feet 3 inches. Going down 11 feet 4 inches to the left, and then 24 feet 2 inches toward the bottom. Now 12 feet to the right, now 8 feet 10 inches going up, and then to the right again 11 feet. Now 4 feet going down, to the right let's use 3 feet 11 inches, and going down 2 feet 5 inches. And finally you can use C for close, or I'll use 33 feet 1 inch, and the perimeter is done. Now let's use our first command, which is offset. When we call it, the first prompt is specify offset distance. And I'll enter 8 here because that's the width of the wall I want. Now it'll say select objects to offset, and we'll use the perimeter P-line. Now specify point on side to offset. Click toward the inside of the house and we have the wall. Now let's do the adjacent structure. We'll draw a reference line of 12 feet 8 inches to have an endpoint here to snap to. Now we'll use P-line again and we'll specify going up 4 feet 4 inches, now 6 feet 8 inches to the left, now 16 inches going down, and 64 inches to the right. And finally we'll snap to the parallel point in the house down here. Now let's get rid of the reference line and let's do the same for the other object. We'll use a reference line of 6 feet, and then instead of using P-line we'll use lines to move then to the next command. We'll use 6 feet 10 inches to the left, 18 feet 5 inches going down, and now let's snap to the main structure. As we did before, let's erase the reference line, and again let's offset this structure to the inside. Since it is composed, as you can see, of lines, we need to repeat it for each one. Now let's use a final line to close here the structure. And now let's go to clear this out using the command trim. You can locate it here in the modify panel. Notice the drop down menu. Let's use trim. The first prompt is select objects. So you need to select the cutting edges. Once your cutting edges are selected, the next prompt is select objects to trim. And this refers to the portions you don't want, or the ones that you will eliminate. So we'll select all the lines we don't want by removing at the intersections in the wall. Now you know how to use the command trim. Nevertheless, we'll practice some more in this video with the command trim. Now let's go back to command offset to create the interior finish of our walls. As you can see, you have the drop down menu, and when you pull it, we have 3 options. If we select layer, that gives us the choice to assign our offset object to a specific layer. The erase option gives us the means to keep the offset object but erase the original. Finally, through will ask you where you want your offset object. However, most of the time you will use direct entry. Now let's select our inner line and then click on the interior side. At this point we have the finish of our interior wall. So now let's create the interior partitions based on the measurements we already have here. You can use polyline command, and let's start snapping from this corner and using a 4 inches line going down. Now 12 to the left, and then snap to the wall back here. Now let's draw a line of 2 feet 10 inches as a reference and draw again a P line. Now 12 to the left, start our dividing wall at the kitchen. Now erase the reference line and let's call command offset again. This time by using the letter O with the keyboard, let's enter 7 feet 4 inches, and now let's select this line. Let's click on the side towards the bottom of the screen and then click again to close the command. Now let's repeat it, but use 2 feet 10 inches to create the next opening, and then let's go back to the center portion to do a line at each corner. Any size is okay, because now we'll go to the next command, which is extend. It is here with trim, or you can use the keyboard shortcut, which are letters TR. Now the first prompt is select objects, and now you have to choose up to where you want your lines to extend. And the following prompt is select objects to extend. We select our lines, and see the moment you touch each one, it connects the line at the other side. Line again to close this bottom part, and now we'll use extend command again to show you a different option. Once it prompts you, select the objects. Here are the two corners of the dividing wall. When clicking on top of this line here, it seems that nothing is happening. But look at the prompt where it says select objects to extend or shift select to trim. Press down the shift key on your keyboard, click again on top of the line. It acts like command trim. Now let's start constructing the closets here, and we'll use offset again at 10 feet to the right. We'll repeat it at 4 inches to the right to do the partition, and then do the same at 3 feet first, and then 4 inches again. Now use P-line and connect to the corner up here. Use 8 feet for the line and repeat it, but snap this time to the corner wall and bring it up. Now let's use extend again, and in just one crossing window, let's select these two lines to indicate that we want them to meet. Hit enter and now select both again the same way, and once you do it, they connect each other. Let's repeat it for practice. So use again P-line, snap it here and bring the line up to this point. Now call command extend again, select both lines we want to meet, hit enter to finish the selection, select the first line we want to extend. It will extend up to the point where it should have met the other selected line. Now let's call again offset command and let's offset at 4 inches all these lines to create the closets. Remember to change the values for the offset distance when you need it. Try to follow what I'm doing. And at this point, remember, we want to know what you think, so feel free to post your questions or comments. Another thing is that most likely you will need to pause the video to keep the pace. And remember, if you do something wrong, use the undo button. This offsetting is kind of tedious, but it's faster. And now let's use again command trim. Let's select all the closet area. First thing here, press down shift at the keyboard and select these two lines so they can extend to meet each other. And now let's start using it normally by selecting the lines we want to remove. And while removing this, you should know that trim and extend are complementary commands, so you can only use either one of the two and make it behave like the other by pressing shift in your keyboard. Now here let's use P-line to create the finished part of the wall. So let's use 4 inches, 4 again, 12 inches, 4 again, and snap at the end point. Now let's repeat trim and let's select the cutting edges, hit enter and start trimming. Here are these two lines. We'll erase them and call P-line again. Using the endpoints, snap and draw the two legs of the wall. This first one at 4 inches and the second one at 3 inches. Now let's I'm sorry, now the last thing in the closets is use P-line again and draw a line with the exact measurement of 1 feet 9 inches and 3/4. Now 4 inches and snap back to the wall. You already know how to remove the line here with trim, so do it again and we are done with the closet area. Now to finish down here, we'll draw again a reference line from the tip of the closet wall at 2 feet 10 inches. Call P-line again and let's draw at 4 inches, and let's draw a 4 inches line to the right and now snap to the wall down. Let's raise now a reference line and repeat P-line or line and finish snapping to the interior wall again. Now to remove the back line, call trim again, select the objects to be cutting edges, hit enter and select again this section to be removed. Now let's do the dividing wall between the garage and the house and let's call trim again. Select these two lines as cutting edges and remove this line that we should have done it before. Now call command offset and let's offset the interior wall line at 11 feet and now repeat it at 2 inches and again at 8 inches. Here we have a thicker wall but also an interior finishing. Now this line should go all the way to the other wall. So let's use command extend. Now select the boundary edges or the wall up to where it should extend down here and just select now all 3 lines at once. We need to trim accordingly. Now let's call the command, select the cutting edges and now let's trim the lines we don't need and combine it with shift to extend where is necessary, of course. Just follow what I'm doing, keep the command active and repeat the process at the other side. So don't hit enter or escape or right click, just go to the next side with the command still active and keep trimming what we need and use shift to extend. So we are done at this side too. Now for this remaining line at the wall on the right, just erase it and we are done with the garage area. Now moving on to the bathroom area, starting from this point, let's use again P-line and specify 8 inches to the right, 4 inches down and snap back at the wall on the left. Remove the back line with trim and you should know how to do it right now. Now let's create the bathroom opening, so use a reference line of 2 feet 8 inches or 30 inches. Since I know that my next section is exactly the same as the one we did, we will use mirror. Remember we explained mirror command in a previous tutorial. And now let's get rid of the reference line. Instead of repeating the drawing here, let's copy this area here and paste it here. Now let's mirror again this section. And remember, we've covered so far a lot of commands in previous tutorials. And back here, using P-line again, we'll draw a line of 3 feet 8 inches, then 4 inches down, and let's snap back at the end point. And for the last section, let's repeat what we just did. Use a reference line of 3 feet or 36 inches. And now mirror this area and erase this line. And what do you think we'll do next? Right, extend to the wall. So use command extend, use all these lines as cutting edges, and let's extend here and remove here at the same time, and boom, we're done. Now, since the interior wall of the bathroom accommodates the water lines and other stuff, we should do it wider than our regular 2 inches. So let's offset again at 2 inches, so we'll have 4 inches in total. Select the line. Let's trim the area to leave it as we want it. And remember that in CAD, you have several ways to do the same. In other words, you don't have to remove this line exactly the way I'm doing it, because at this point, you should also know all the ways that we've explained previously. And although we can trim again, we'll stretch the lines using the grips of the line here. Now let's use trim again. First cut this one and now extend to the other one. And yes, now we're done with our initial part for this project. For the next tutorial, we'll approach how to create, modify, and insert blocks along with other sweet stuff to complete our project. So remember, feel free to comment and give a like if you enjoyed. Again, thanks for watching and see you next time.